Hey, real quick. You wake up Monday morning, alarm goes off, you get ready, you commute, you sit at a desk for 8 hours, you come home tired, you eat, you sleep, you do it again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday, just when you start to feel human again, you get paid. Just enough to cover rent, car payment, groceries, subscriptions, maybe a little left over if nothing broke this month. And then Monday comes again. You have been told this is normal. You have been told this is responsible. You have been told this is just how life works. But what if it was not accidental? What if the 9 to 5, the alarm clock, the commute, the salary, the 2 weeks vacation, the retirement at 65 was not designed to give you a good life? What if it was designed to give you just enough of a life that you would never stop to question it? Stay with me, because what I am about to show you is going to change the way you see every Monday morning for the rest of your life.
Let us start at the beginning, because the 9 to 5 did not always exist. For most of human history, people worked for themselves. Farmers worked their land, craftsmen worked their trade, merchants ran their shops. The relationship between work and reward was direct. You produced something. You kept what you produced. Then the Industrial Revolution happened, and everything changed. Factories needed workers, not owners, not entrepreneurs, workers. People who would show up at a specific time, perform a specific task, and leave when told. People whose time could be purchased, scheduled, and controlled. The factory system needed human beings to behave like components in a machine, predictable, replaceable, dependent. And so a system was built, not to liberate workers, but to organize them in a way that maximized what could be extracted from them while keeping them stable enough to come back tomorrow. That system had a name. We still call it employment. Now here is where it gets interesting. In the early 1900s, workers in America were working 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, no vacation, no benefits, no protections. And they started to revolt. Strikes, protests, demands for better conditions. The factory owners had a problem. If they gave workers too little, they would revolt. If they gave workers too much, they might not need to work at all. The solution was elegant, brutal, and it has shaped every working life since. Henry Ford, one of the most powerful industrialists in history, made a decision that changed the world. He reduced the workday to 8 hours. He paid his workers enough to buy the cars they were building. History books call this generosity, innovation, revolutionary thinking. But look closer at what it actually created. Workers who earned just enough to become consumers. People who spent their wages on products made by the same system that employed them. A closed loop: work, get paid, spend, work again. Ford did not free the worker. He upgraded the cage and made the worker pay for it themselves. The 8-hour workday became law. Unions celebrated, and the template was set for the next 100 years of American working life. But something else was quietly being built at the same time. The education system. Now think about what school actually teaches you. Not the subjects, the structure. You wake up at a specific time. You sit in rows. You raise your hand to speak. You ask permission to use the bathroom. You are graded on compliance as much as comprehension. You are rewarded for giving the right answer, not for asking better questions. And then at the end of 12 years of this, you graduate, and you enter the workforce, where you wake up at a specific time, sit in rows, raise your hand to speak in meetings, ask permission to take time off, are evaluated on compliance as much as performance, and are rewarded for executing instructions, not for questioning them. The school system and the employment system are not two different things. They are two chapters of the same story. One prepares you for the other, seamlessly, from the age of 5. You did not choose the 9 to 5. You were trained for it before you were old enough to understand what training was. Now let us talk about the salary, because this is the mechanism that holds everything together. Here is how a salary actually works, and I do not mean the number on your offer letter. I mean the psychological architecture of it. You get paid once or twice a month, not every day, not immediately after you produce value, on a schedule your employer controls. Your expenses, Rent, mortgage, car payment, subscriptions, utilities are also structured on monthly cycles, deliberately aligned with when your paycheck arrives, which means that on the day you get paid, your money is already spoken for. It lands in your account, and within days, sometimes hours, it flows back out to the companies and institutions waiting for it. This is not an accident, this is engineering. The monthly salary cycle creates a permanent condition where most workers never accumulate enough slack to make a genuine choice about whether to keep working. Every month resets to zero. Every month, the pressure to earn next month's salary begins immediately. You are not paid for the value you created. You are paid just enough, just often enough to make sure you show up again next month. And then there is the retirement promise, the deal that was made with an entire generation. Work hard for 40 years. Give your best hours, your best energy, your best decades to the company. And at the end, at 65, you will be free. Think about what that actually means. You are trading the years when you have the most energy, the most curiosity, the most physical capability, the most capacity for adventure, for the promise of freedom when you are old enough that most of those capacities have diminished. The system takes your best years and gives you your worst ones back. And even that promise is eroding. Pension funds are underfunded. Social Security faces structural pressure. The retirement age keeps moving. The cost of living in retirement keeps rising. Entire generations followed the rules exactly. Saved, invested, waited, and arrived at 65 to discover that the finish line had quietly moved while they were running toward it. But here's the part that nobody talks about. The part that makes all of this work so effectively. It is not a conspiracy. There is no room full of powerful men deciding how to keep workers trapped. It is something more insidious than that. It is a system that self-perpetuates, that gets reproduced automatically by the very people inside it. Your parents told you to get a good job because that is what kept them stable. Your teachers prepared you for employment because that is what they were trained to do. Your society measures success by your job title and your salary, because those are the metrics the system created. Nobody is lying to you. Everybody is telling you the truth as they understand it. The truth of a system they were also born into, also trained by, also never questioned. The 9-to-5 does not need a villain. It just needs everyone inside it to believe it is the only option. And the most powerful thing it does, the most quietly devastating thing, is make you feel that if you are struggling inside the system, the problem is you. Not enough skills, not enough hustle, not enough discipline. The system is never the problem. You are the problem. Work harder, get promoted, try again. And so you do, and the cycle continues. Now I want to be very clear about something. Work is not the enemy. Employment is not evil. Millions of people build genuinely good lives inside traditional careers. There is dignity in showing up. There is value in contribution. There is community in shared work. That is not what this video is questioning. What this video is questioning is the assumption that the structure you were handed, the alarm clock, the commute, the salary cycle, the 2 weeks vacation, the retirement at 65, is the only structure available to you, or the best one, or the one that was designed with your interests at the center. Because it was not. It was designed with production at the center, with consumption at the center, with the smooth functioning of an economic system at the center. You were fitted into that design, not the other way around. And here is what changes when you truly understand that. You stop asking, how do I succeed inside this system? And you start asking, what would I build if I designed my working life from scratch? Not everyone can answer that question immediately. Not everyone can leave a job tomorrow. Real life has real constraints. Bills, families, responsibilities, obligations. But there is a profound difference between someone who is inside the 9-to-5 because they chose it, clearly, consciously, with full understanding of what it is, and someone who is inside it because they never realized they had any other option. The first person has power. The second person is just running the program they were given at age 5 without ever reading the source code. This video is about reading the source code. So here's what I want you to take from this. The 9-to-5 is not natural. It is not inevitable. It is not the logical conclusion of human civilization. It is a design, built at a specific moment in history, for specific purposes, by people with specific interests. And like any design, it can be questioned. It can be modified. It can be replaced with something that serves you better. That does not look the same for everyone. For some people, it is building a business on the side until it replaces their salary. For some, it is negotiating remote work that gives back hours of commuting. For some, it is simply understanding the game clearly enough to play it on their own terms instead of the system's terms. But all of it starts with the same moment. The moment you stop accepting the alarm clock as inevitable and start asking who set it and why. You just had that moment. What you do with it is entirely up to you. If this made you see your Monday morning differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because the most powerful thing you can do inside a system designed to keep you isolated is help someone else see it clearly too. Stay curious, stay free, and I will see you in the next one.